Sadie, did you see that? Jeremy fixed that snowmobile.
Yeah. Can Jeremy fix mine?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Today on Let's Hope We Can Fix This Person's Snowmobile, we are working with a 2004 Polaris 120cc Pro-X. So this is a good friend of mine's daughter's snowmobile. Hasn't ran in a bit, and we're not really sure exactly what's going on with it. Pretty much all he wanted me to do was get this thing running again so she can enjoy it this year. So first thing we're gonna do, as always, we're gonna crack into the carburetor, make sure that's tip-top shape. We also have some spring setup situation going on here where we got a loose spring here that goes to this side at some area. So that'll have to be addressed. This looks like a new spring as well. Might be some spring and setting things that we gotta do with it, but let's start with the carburetor, and then of course we'll check the clutch, check the sprockets, check the chain, all that stuff, make sure she got good oil and all that stuff. So let's crack into it. The first thing we'll do is check compression. As I said, anything shy of 120 on this motor is probably looking at a rebuild, but let's check and see, make sure that's not the case. Yeah, in there. You can check the spark plug at the same time, see what it looked like the last time it was running, and it looks pretty normal. Now we'll keep an eye on that, see what we get up to. Hold the throttle, give her some rhythm. We got 135-ish. So that's good, that's perfect, it's beautiful. So we know that the motor's good, which is a critical part of figuring this thing out. The next thing we gotta do is break into the carburetor. But first, for my next act, we're gonna drain this gas out of here. Now, I believe this is fresh gas, so I'm gonna put it into one of my tanks and we might reuse it later. Or I might throw it in an old machine or my plow truck or something, but check this out. Highly worth the $9 that I spent for it. Yes, perfect. Throw that in there. It's got a nice rigid nozzle so we can get down in the cracks and crevices. The reason I drained the gas out of the tank is I've had issues before. You may think that, oh well, you can just put the shut off on the gasoline line, but sometimes it doesn't always work. And I don't want gasoline on my kitchen table. Oh, that ain't gonna fit. Gasoline doesn't go well with your English muffins in the morning. This thing is so light. I love it. That's the perk of having little sleds. You pick them up in one hand. Move the car. Bit of a frigid morning. Let's see if the car starts. All right, that's good. Yeah, we had quite the chilly morning. We're harder gold. Let's go. I blew my back out and I ripped my pants. Another kitchen repair. Here we go. Let's start on the Pro-X 120. The first thing I want to fix on this is the hood cable here so it'll stay open. Right now it's kind of just begging for mercy on the hinges here, and I don't want to risk breaking the plastic on the hood. It's pretty much flawless, so I'm going to repair this. The plastic piece wore through and now it no longer has anything to hang on to, so I got an idea for that. Oh, wow. This bad boy right here. I think we can do something with that. I folded the sides on this hood tab, and I think it's going to be good. It has a little spot for the bolt to go through now, and it still has original teeth to bite through, so should be the ticket. We got that fixed, so now I don't have to worry about busting this thing with my elbow. Let's just do a little quick walk around of this thing. It's pretty dirty. I might take the shop back to it before we get started. Overall, in pretty decent shape. I really want to repair this seat, but it's going to take me probably 2 weeks to get a seat cover in. Let's see, we got decent shocks in the front. Look at those tiny little things. Plastics all seem to be good. There's no damage to the tunnel or anything. Our track is looking really good. Like I said, the hood, pretty mint condition. Still got all the decals. It's not all sun faded. I'd like to take a look at the clutch and the chain here. It looks like you gotta get some bolts. It's not just a pin like normal big sleds. How many miles we got on it? Looks like 1,200. Yeah, it's just a little bit dirty, but this thing's in pretty good shape. Now's a good time to tell you there's a Sasquatch in this video somewhere, and if you're the first person to timestamp it down in the comments, you win a Ride More hat, or maybe we'll do an Al Snowmobile hat. Shout out to Al's, Hunter especially. Appreciate you, man. Always getting me the parts when I need them. So find the Sasquatch and timestamp it. Now I reckon this is going to be quite the pain. We got to take this little breather box off and get to the bolts that connect the carburetor to the motor. Oh yeah. What else is attached to it? Oh, there's a hose there. Okay, we'll push that off to the side. Now we have access to our carburetor. There's no gasket on that side. And there is a gasket on that side, and there's also some gasket maker, as you can see. I'm gonna take the gasoline line off first. Might get some drippage here on our kitchen table, but I got a cut off soda bottle underneath. Correction, there is actually a gasket, and it was just stuck to it, and I couldn't see it. But a little worse for wear, I'd say. Yeah, this thing is junk. Man, there is just not enough room for a normal human being to get his hands in there. Finally able to get everything off of there, and now we have our little mini car. Look how adorable that thing is. Here's our old gasket. That is just ripped to shreds. That ain't what you like to see. Dun, 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 dun. Polaris 120 carburetor. I'm getting gas on my hands already. What kind of carburetor is this? It's a Mikuni. Get as much gas out as we can before we open the bowl. Alright. Looks pretty clean in there, actually. I got my brush here. I'm going to take one of these bristles and try to run it through the bottom little hole there. Passage, I should say. And see if junk comes out. And while I do that, you can admire the little red truck I have here hauling a Christmas tree. Bet you never seen one of those before. So I went to town with a wire brush on this thing, and I got a couple little specks. Some things fell out of there. I was like, oh, okay, that's, you know, a little bit plugged. And then I smacked it against the counter, and that thing, that giant chunk of whatever that is, fell out. So that definitely would have stopped this from running. Now, of course, we got to check the carb side of things, and I wish you could see down there. It's hard to see, but I got the daylight shining in on it, and there is some junk in there. It looks like little twigs almost, and also some of that black stuff. The carb cleaner wasn't enough to power that through, so maybe the compressed air can get it. The next project is to scrape off all the old gasket. Now before I throw this back on there, I'm going to adjust the fuel air mixture. Now I read online it's supposed to be 1.5 to 2 turns out. Let's see where we're at right now. That's from lightly seated, of course. So we're at half, 1, half, 2. Okay, so we were 2 turns out. We're gonna start with 1.5 turns out. We'll see how that acts. If we have to adjust it later, we will. Just trying to clean up the motor side where the gasket maker was, because we're gonna be putting our new gasket on. We won't have any interference. And the carburetor's back on. Look at that. Got everything all set up. It actually wasn't too bad getting this air box back on there. Where's the cover for that? I gotta do that one last step. Next thing we gotta do is we gotta figure out this whole spring system with the throttle. Now I believe this should not be like that. It should be sitting, resting like that. Here's about full throttle. It should be over there somewhere. So we're gonna have to mess around. We got this loose spring here. It looks like there's supposed to be 2 springs. One goes here, one that goes here, just like there is. But somehow we got to get this to stay in this position until we squeeze the throttle, and then it should pull it backwards to open up the butterfly and give it the juice. So something's going on with this, and we're gonna have to figure it out. I might have to get a spring that attaches to this or something. I'm not sure. But right now, as it is, if we were to start it, this would be full throttle. We don't want that. So I messed around with this thing for quite a while here, just messing around with the placement of these springs, and I finally think I've got it tuned in. And then when you hit the throttle, boom, and then let it go, it goes back to idle, boom, just like that. All right, so I think this is correct. Of course, we'll have to get gas in it and test it out, but pretty sure that is the way that it's supposed to be. Somewhere along the lines, there was a missing spring, or something's happening, or maybe this spring's weak, or something's weak here. But there definitely should be 2 springs here to allow it to pull the throttle appropriately. How about that? I almost just broke my leg. When I was coming out of there, I got my foot stuck right in the middle and I had twisted. Man, that was almost a ankle breaker. Back in the garage with you. That should be plenty. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Make sure fuel is on here. Tether on. Key on. Kill switch up. Alright. The old moment of truth here. Will she run? Choke on? We'll do choke off for now. I had to shut the camera off because it wasn't starting up, and then I gave it a little bit of throttle off camera and she fired up, so I'll show you here 1 second. There we go. A little bit more. Just gotta fine tune it a little bit. It's alive! We're good. Sorry about the hair, but we got this thing running. She's idling on her own. Beauty. We don't have any snow still, but we'll still try it out. All right, it is the next day, and I'm gonna take this little Mini out for a quick little rip. We don't have any snow, but just gonna take it on the lawn a little bit, just to make sure she runs good. Now let's see how well she starts this morning. Turn the gas on. We got our key on. We'll do full choke. There it is. All right. Let her warm up a little bit. Man, I'm hoping we get some snow soon. You guys gotta drop down in the comments how much snow you guys got where you're at. Oh. Whoops. I'm gonna run into my car. This thing doesn't steer very good in the mud. Turn, turn, turn. Hey, a little bit of snow. Whoa, wheelie. Turn, turn, turn. Oh man, oops. Popped off our kills their tether again. This thing is a blast, man. Whew. It's got plenty of power to haul me around. What a little rocket this thing is. Get her back in the garage. That thing is a blast. Thanks for watching, friends, as always. If you got any machines that you need fixed, let me know down in the comments what you need done to them and where you're at, and I just might show up at your doorstep. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I appreciate you. Bye.
Go, baby. Pay attention. Our nice smart boy. Look at me. Did you get a good picture? Yeah. Oh crap, I'm cold. Me too. Honey, honey. Watch out, Sophie.